All right, we are live, and here we are again. All right, what day is today? It's actually December 22, 2022, here at Agbayon channel. Our topic for this particular live stream session is the 29th Iligan National Writers Workshop and the magic of a Southeast Asian-wide online writing workshop. But before anything else, let's have a channel.
Nagkakaroon na naman ng pagtaas ng COVID-19 cases dito sa Pilipinas. Subalit ayon sa gobyerno, wala raw
Dahil ang pagsuyo ko ay multong haplos. Huli na akong lumampi ng 1,000 taon. Papailing ning paggamit ning folk beliefs related to the Venuspad.
Nunglo or the kinabayo could very well be an articulation of this folk.
Then we go farther forward and we'll go to the false shield. At saka ito, syempre, ang ating sword. Kasi naman, ano po, kung talaga may zombie apocalypse.
There. So as we said, the topic is the 29th Iligan National Writers Workshop, and of course the magic of a Southeast Asian-wide online writing workshop. Okay, let's have a little back story. Okay, I was a fellow for the 12th Iligan National Writers Workshop, which was held on May 2 to 5 to 2005. So that's a long time ago, actually. And I actually wrote an essay or an article about the experience. You might want to check it right there at my WordPress blog, Hagbayon. You may want to use Google and actually check my article on the topic. Oh yes, I also posted the link to my YouTube, to my WordPress blog at my Facebook page, also called Hagbayon, Hagbayon. Same name as my YouTube channel. 12th Iligan National Writers Workshop. So I was there as a fellow on May 2 to 5, 2005. And I actually wrote about it if you want to check it out. If you want to be a fellow as well for Iligan and you want to, read about it and actually have a glimpse of how it goes. In 2005, I received a call from Madam Shirley Adlawan. So that's when I learned that I actually qualified as one of the fellows for the Iligan National Writers Workshop at that time. The Iligan National Writers Workshop is the only workshop which actually attempts to represent the entire Philippines, in the sense that they make sure that there will be writing fellows coming from Luzon, Visayas, and Mindanao. And recently, they started accommodating other writers coming from the ASEAN region or the Southeast Asian region. During my time, I was the lone fellow for Filipino poetry representing Luzon. During my time, there were five fellows each for Luzon, Visayas, and Mindanao. And we pretty much covered all the usual genre in creative writing, poetry, short fiction, drama. Okay, there were fellows for poetry in English and Filipino and Visayan languages. There were also fellows for short fiction in Filipino, English, and other regional languages, particularly Visayan languages. And there were also fellows for what? For drama. Uh, I do remember taking a bus. I wanted to sort of prove that you need not go to Metro Manila just to get to Mindanao. So I took a bus from Camarines Sur, Naga City. It was a bus going to Cagayan de Oro. It was a Philtranco bus. Needless to say, I was able to save on my travel, travel expenses. For writing fellowships such as the Iligan National Writers Workshop and other uh, National Writers Workshop here in the Philippines, the writing fellow gets to receive stipend or allowance and free travel allowance, plus hotel accommodation and food, etc., etc., plus the chance to brush elbows with the established writers in this particular literary jurisdiction, which is the Philippines. And in the sense, the experience will make you a better writer because it will be a what? It will be a simulation of what would really happen when your work, your literary work or the text gets to meet the reader. So uh, it's a simulation of that situation when the text meets the critic or the reader. So you really have to be detached, you really have to be objective and, just try to be curious as to what will be the reaction of possible readers to your particular work. And in the sense, you will get a grasp of how to revise or perhaps how to write better your future literary projects. Or you may also try to, you know, pick up on what you should continue doing as a writer. For instance, what technique works for you as a writer? Well, according to the comments and reactions of the panel and your co-fellows as well. So that's in essence the the gist of this writing fellowships. I do remember that I went to Cagayan de Oro and met up with fellow poet Raul Moldes. I think Raul was also a fellow or a former fellow for the Iligan National Writers Workshop, and I actually stayed at his house for a few days, and it was really fun. So shout out to Doctor no? Raul Moldes, PhD from Cagayan de Oro. Um, um, I then proceeded to Mindanao State University, Iligan Institute of Technology. Uh, we were billeted at a hotel nearby. Uh, and I do remember meeting Jenebeth Loro, my co-fellow. She was also my co-fellow previously for the IAS National Writers Workshop or IAS Creative Writing Workshop, sponsored by De La Salle University or University of St. La Salle, Bacolod. And we went out with senior and established poet Merdi Alunan, the mentor of Jenny Beth, and we ate chicken at Sunburst Chicken. So that's it. That's what I really remember. Now, I do remember that the fellows, for the 12th Iligan National Writers Workshop were the following. The fellows were Rosandre Ladignon, Maria Abigail Malonzo, Vladimir Gonzalez, or Vlad of UP Diliman, one of the you know major writers coming from UP nowadays. We have Virgilio Rivas, now established philosopher. We have Roger Rueda, himself established writer right now. Brian Marie Argos, also established writer. Marcel Miliam, um, I think you know him already. Jennifer Loro and Dennis Ravas, Jamila Hojas, Cherise Ampo, Jose Toma Cruz, of course, the late Telesporo Sungkit or Jun Sungkit, and Grace Udin. They were my co-fellows during the 12th Iligan National Writers Workshop. Our panelists were the following. I remember Ma'am Chari Lucero or Rosario Cruz Lucero, and Irlinda Alburo of Study Center, Cebuano Study Center. Jaime Ann Lim, the late Leoncio Derriada of Home Life magazine fame. Merly Luna, Ma'am Merly, Herman Herbacio, Timothy Montes or Tim Montes, Stephen Patrick uh, Fernandez, renowned thespian and theater expert. Our keynote speaker at the time was Vicente Groyon, novelist Vicente Groyon. Uh, it was a fun, workshop. It was great to actually get to hear the opinion of writers coming from Mindanao, particularly on issues at the time, literary, literary paradigms, and I was also really interested in how they would actually react to my works at that time, being that I was from Luzon. I'm still from Luzon, and I was writing in Tagalog/Filipino. Our uh, anthology, workshop anthology, or folio went out years later. I think 2 or 3 years. It was entitled "A State of Constant Beginnings." You see, the Iligan Writers Workshop is a little bit unique in the sense that this particular workshop records the proceedings and would publish them, and would also include the works tackled during the workshop. I'm not sure if other workshops do the same. I do remember other workshops that I attended where they would also record the proceedings, but I don't remember any of them publishing the proceedings. So that makes Iligan National Writers Workshop a little bit unique or different. That's it. So I actually got my copy now. If you want to see the cover for that anthology, you might want to check my WordPress blog. WordPress blog, I mean. I published the cover of the anthology. Or you might just want to Google it and it will come out. Now, for the 29th Iligan National Writers Workshop, I was invited as a senior slash alumni fellow. To think that, as you know, I have not been really active in the literary scene except via my Facebook page and this YouTube channel, where I also feature some of my works, my readings, and a few performances, literary performances. But if you actually look at my old, old videos, you will really see that I was, active, man. I was active in the literary scene, local or national. I even had a regular, I even had a band, Super Poet Genome Project. I was the vocalist and the lead guitarist for that band, and we were organizing uh, uh, poetry readings, poetry gigs regularly, and we had we accepted other genres, drama, dance, whatnot. So we were really, really active. I was active at the time, but recently I've been, engrossed in my so-called outdoors activities and the bucolic life, farm life, so to speak. So I was really surprised when I was invited by Mom Christine. So, well, the fun part was that I had to actually prepare a lecture on my creative process. So, by now I would have developed my own creative process or poetics. So I did just that. If you want to check the video of that uh, my creative process declaration of sort, you may check the Mindanao Creative and Cultural Workers Group page and the Hagbayon Facebook page. Okay, there's something wrong with the with the acronym of the Mindanao Creative uh, and Cultural Workers Group Incorporated acronym here. You may want to check their page and also my Facebook page. Now, the 29th Iligan National Writers Workshop is actually sponsored or is actually funded by the NCCA, the Mindanao State University Iligan Institute of Technology, uh, headed headed by Dr. Christine Godinez Ortega. I mean, Ma'am Christine Godinez Ortega is the convener, no? Sort of the convener and workshop director of the Iligan National Writers Workshop, and she's also one of the leaders of the Mindanao Creative and Cultural Workers Group Incorporated. Now, the panelists and evaluators of the 29th Iligan National Writers Workshop, oh man, wait, are as follows. Let's talk about them here. Um, The panelists and evaluators. For children's literature, we have Raymond Magno Garlitos or Randy Garlitos. We have Genaro Gojo Cruz, Firis Abonales Son. And then for creative nonfiction, we have Dr. John Jack Wigley, Timothy James D. Macali, Casvini Mundiandi, Nino John Paul Dos Dos. For short fiction, we have Dr. Jose Wendell Capili, Lacan Uhay D. Alegre, Dr. Calbi Asain. For novel, only for the excerpt with summary, we have Dr. Pranesh Prasad, Dr. Augusto Antonio Aguila, Dr. Christine Godinez Ortega. And for drama, we have Dr. Hobart Savior, Carlo Antonio Galay David, Hasanain Magarang, Denver Labadisos Maravilla. For poetry, we have Dr. Aline Yandug, Rebecca Año Dr. Rebecca Año Dr. Herman Herbacio, Dr. Erlinda Quintanar Alburo, Merly Alunan, Ralph Seminogalan, C.D. Borden, Denver Torres, Edbert Darwin Casten, Dr. Rita C. Tuban. The fellows were as follows. For the fellows, let's talk about the fellows. For creative nonfiction, we have Jesusa Marie Caprizo Chua from the Visayas. We have Joris Campado Gumanay, also from the Visayas. And for short fiction, we have John Dokila, Thea Lacambra, James Moler Memoria. For the novel, we have An Tan Shu Ping from Malaysia. She's actually an established novelist. Okay, focusing on fantasy novels. For children's literature, we have Annie Rose Mendoza, Anselmo Osores, Imelda Estrella. For drama, we have LJ Del Doc, Madge Resurrection, Neil Ascuna. For poetry, we have Ivan Ridge Abrizo, Therese Abonales, soon a senior fellow, and we have myself, Jason Chancoco, as senior fellow or alumni fellow for poetry. And we have Rosani Norfarida as a fellow representing Southeast Asia, particularly Thailand. For the graphic novel, well, 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 I got to check on that. For the graphic novel, you have John Philip Bayona. There's this other fellow who's really good as well. I will mention her later. So there, that's it. Sort of fellows. Um, Let me share with you a short video featuring all of the what all of the some of the uh, photos during the workshop. But where is it now? It's not here. Oh my, it's not here. I thought it would be here, but it's not. Sorry about that for those people who are watching this video. So there, I'm supposed to share it. Maybe I share it some other time. I did prepare it. I don't know why it's not here. Maybe I should try uploading it. Okay, I'm uploading it now, so we can play it. It's kind of odd that it's not here. I thought it's already uploaded. Anyway, during the workshop, they actually had the so-called um, 20th Jimmy Balakwit Literary Awards, and that's actually for those who whose works actually were quite exemplary during the workshop. Um, they only considered for this award the new fellows and the ASEAN fellows, no longer the senior fellows. So I wasn't considered for the award because, of course, I'm already alumni fellow, and the alumni fellows were not considered for the 20th Jimmy Balakwit Literary Awards. During my time, I remember Jun Songkit or Telesporo Songkit and Jenebeth Loro actually winning the Balakwit Award at that time. So there. Um, for this year, the winners were the following. For children's literature, Anne Rose Mendoza won the second prize, while Imelda Estrella, my friend Imelda, won the first prize. For short fiction category, uh, Cool Dude Moler Memoria won the third prize. John Duquilia, or John Guilford Duquilia won second prize. And Thea Lacambra won first prize. For the creative nonfiction, Juris Gumanay won first prize. She was the only winner. For the novel, we have Ann Tan Shuping. Miss Ann is actually from Malaysia, so she's a Southeast Asian fellow. For poetry, there was only one contender, so it went to Ivan Ridge Arbizo. Well, technically, being that he was only a fellow for poetry, who is alumni or non-senior fellow, that means he actually topped the screening process. So anyway, it went to him. Ivan Ridge Arbizo. So congratulations, Ivan. For the drama category, Madge Resurrection, third place. Neil Azcuna, second place. And of course, LJ Deldoc for first prize. For the graphic novel, we have John Philip Bayona. John Philip Bayona. Let's look for the fellow for other fellow for the other category, which is the graphic novel. Um, you will read more details about the workshop when you browse the Mindanao Creative and Cultural Workers Group Incorporated page. I'm actually checking now the what the page. Let's check it out. Anyway, it won't take much time. Uh-huh. For the graphic novel. The first discussion on it came a little bit early during the third day actually. So, all right, Dead Town, a work by Sarah Abraham. Now, Sarah Abraham is the other fellow for the graphic novel. She actually did so well. Uh huh. So there, we have two fellows for the graphic novel. We have John Philip Bayona and Sarah Abraham. John Philip Bayona and Sarah Abraham. I may also wanna share to you my creative process, albeit indirectly, but via my other cell phone. So there, let's check it out. Will this work? Oh, it's not so visible. Ah, nah, not good.
Hello, MJ.
If I were to use a computer, a laptop, I might be able to share this properly. But since I'm using this one, I'll try. Maybe it will work. Let's check it out.
Hello, I'm Jason Chancoco, one of the senior fellows or alumni fellows for this year's workshop. The question now is, what is my poetics? As you can see, I am outdoors. Now, my poetics is always rooted to my being a Filipino, a Bicolano, and to my being a farm owner, my being an outdoorsman, prepper slash survivalist, and Filipino martial arts enthusiast. So, where am I coming from? I am a Bicolano who was born in Metro Manila, particularly Pasay City. And despite this fact, I grew up in Bicol and only studied in Manila much later during college. Tara pare, being a Bicolano who was born in Manila, who also studied under the Philippine school system, needless to say, I am proficient in various Philippine languages, including Bicol, Bicol Naga, Iriganon, Tagalog, and of course English. Sa ano yan? Sumbiling? Pana. Pana. Ano narako po niyan? Nga. Asad? Hey boy, salamat. Needless to say, my being a writer is always influenced by my being proficient in English, Tagalog, Filipino, Bicol Naga, and Iriganon. And of course, always influenced by my milieu. Tools such as bow and arrow or the sumbiling, tools by simple people would often end up as a staple for my poetic projects. For one, a premium Bicol blade like this minasbad became one of the major images or central images of one of my poetic projects that I actually submitted for this particular workshop. In that particular poem, the minasbad became a symbol of indigenous people's empowerment. The same with the sea in the poem The Badjao Captain, or in the poem The Spectator. Needless to say, for my poetry, I use images that are just all around me. I use them so that I could get my message across. I use images from rural settings as well as images from the city. But somehow, I am more of a nature poet and very much concerned with the environment. Now, poems arrive to me already having their own language. I just listen to them and they arrive either in English, Filipino, Bicol Naga, Irigano. I just listen to the sound that reverberates inside my skull. Poems choose their own language, as far as I'm concerned. Now, I subscribe to the adage that the poet is not necessarily the voice that we hear in the poem. So in my poetry, I usually wear masks. I usually assume different personas. I could be an agda, I could be a warrior, I could be a mother, I could be a child, different personas. I assume different voices. For me, it's easier for the poet to be grounded or to delve into the various political, historical, artistic, or poetic context of the poem if he or she would wear a different kind of mask, a persona different from his own persona. In such a way, the poet would now be able to achieve a different poetic clearing, a different artistic temperament and playground. Therefore, to arrive at poetry is a difficult task. We can say it can be likened to a difficult trek for a hiker or a mountaineer. A rocky trail like this one. But there's always somewhere to go when you start to capture the poem or the sound of the poem in your head. It is something primordial, really, so congenital, so very much part of our human consciousness, something that we share
with the early people during the early days. The sound of the poem inside our heads. So most of the time, to be able to listen to the sound of the poem, I stop and meditate. I go to places like this, the woods, being that I happen to be a farm owner, I happen to be an outdoorsman. So here in this area, I try to construct the poem, or at least I try to germinate the poem inside my head. And to be honest about it, I could really listen to the voice of the poem already having its own language, already having its own tone. Now, the persona in the poem, as I said, will have a particular tone. So, likewise, I listen to the tone of the poem inside my head. More often than not, the poem itself will provide for it. Is the persona being ironic, insulting? Is the persona angry, worried? It's easier to capture it when you actually listen to it inside your head. The way I try to listen to the sound of the waterfalls here. Because for me, poetry is meant to be heard, so its genesis must be sound. Same way that I immerse with nature, I immerse to the universe of the poem. As I said, I listen to the voice of the poem, I listen to the tone of the poem, and I achieve it by going outdoors, by trying to experience the outdoors. Even if it's an urban setting, or it could be a rural setting like this one. I studied various poetic forms, Bicol poetic forms, Tagalog poetic forms, English poetic forms, European forms. But right now, somehow, the poem in my head would likewise present its own form. When I write in English, it's usually a case of stream of consciousness, but somehow influenced by modernist poet T.S. Eliot with his objective correlative doctrine. So if you will observe, most of my points in English are in three verse and with run-on lines. Sir Jason Chancoco here for the Iligan National Writers Workshop. This is my poetics. This is how I write. This is how I reassert my existence. Thank you so much.
There, my creative process as shared with the fellows, panelists, and other people participating during the 29th Iligan National Writers Workshop. I wanted to play it here, but apparently I will need a computer. I'm not using a laptop now. I'm just using a phone. That is why I could not embed. I could not embed the entire video. But let me share with you. Share with you now. I think it's ready now. Some of the photos during the online workshop, during the 29th Iligan National Writers Workshop.
All right. So there, that's our presentation. So how did you find it? For those who are also into creative writing, maybe you also want to apply for next year's Iligan National Writers Workshop, and I think it will be a face-to-face thing next year. But is there magic? No, uh, is there magic in online creative writing workshops such as the 29th Iligan National Writers Workshop? I think there is. I think there's also something about being able to talk about the poetic process, the creative process, via the online system. Everything happens as Thea Lacambra said during our chat. Everything is happening in one screen, so it's easier for you to focus. And there are no other distractions in more ways than one. So you're only looking at one screen. So it means, as I said, everything is happening there, and you are more or less structured in that sense. And despite the passion for the art, there's also longing for companionship, but you are actually very very far apart. Ironically, it would feel like you're in the same room, even if you're all in different places and countries. That is the magic, I think, of online creative writing workshops. Actually, it's actually a little bit more intense. But then again, during online workshops, you can actually hide. You can hide your face, although supposedly you are to show your face all the time, turn on your camera all the time. But it doesn't happen, you know, all the time. Some people sometimes would you know turn off their cameras. But in the main, it was still a great experience, meeting people online. And actually, it's great. It's a great thing for me because I actually feel that I have met more friends now. That I actually feel that comparing to my previous workshops, face-to-face workshops, national writers workshops, I actually feel like I met more, new friends now rather than before. There's excitement, there's respect, there's of course the longing for all of us to actually meet some other time. So that's for our episode for this session. Mm, it's been a while since I actually went live. So thank you for joining me. If you actually stayed, I'll be uploading this, and I'll be also including the link, the video, my creative process. Alright, Jason here for the Hagbayon channel and TMS Talk. Remember, the pen is mightier with a sword. Thanks for watching.